There's a quick little video. Started on the last Bridgestone 175 that I have. This one I got from my uncle. Actually, his other bike's right over here. And I have a third one up in the garage I ride all the time, but this is the one that had all spare parts kind of left over. So I got a box of cylinders and extra engine parts. Most of it has the bad chrome bores and that sort of thing, and a lot of pistons that have been, run through the ringer and have been blown up. But I think I found enough parts between some of these pistons. They got a little bit of wear on them, but I'm trying to put this one together and see if I can make this one run yet. This was a brand new piston that had a seal go through in one of my other builds that, I don't know, it might just have to work on this one. The rings were new, everything was new. It's like I found some cylinders, the bore was fine. Just digging through, trying to find wrist pins, wrist pin bearings. I don't know the condition of the bottom end. I mean, it turns over okay, but it's been sitting since, I think, 1989 is when this one got taken apart. So about a year ago, I blew it all out. I spent a couple hours using, brake clean and oil and spraying it out and soaking it down and spraying it out. So then got most of the junk out of there. I have plenty of heads because nothing really goes wrong with these things. So I got, stacks of those. Had a couple more pistons. I get the rings are stuck in them. They seem in pretty good shape. I mean, they are 175. I mean, this one wasn't even scored or anything, but they said I don't know how to get the rings loose. I've been putting Croil on them and stuff, and that's just basically been today. So, I mean, these pistons are in pretty good shape. I'd probably run some, 1,000 grit over them, just trying to take some of that, smooth them out. You can see where I had to pound this one. This one was stuck in a cylinder. That's kind of what happens. Either they get taken apart and the cylinders are okay, or they stay together and they seize so tight that they just, the bore starts to flake out on them. But this one, I mean, just uses a bunch of, there's a bolt welded on there, and this was just basically all the junk parts off of the other bikes that I ride. Kind of ended up on this one, but this one was actually, I guess, a runner. There should be a bunch of miles on it. I can't tell from down here. I think they had like 23,000 or something like that. The gas tank was actually, pretty good shape from what I remember. Here again, no seal on the gas cap. I struggle with that stuff. Hopefully, I just put a battery in, because I've had really good luck with spark on these. Once I get these kind of engines back together, that they just have fire and put some smoke, put some premix down there, and usually fire pretty quick. I've had these carburetors off because I've tried them on my other bikes. Because, like I said, everything I have, I try to get the cylinders to run as smooth as I can. It seems like when I go for a ride, I'll come back and one cylinder will be like 330 degrees, one's 290. Well, is that timing? Is that a bad carburetor? I mean, I don't have a good set of extra carburetors. I've just been using, this was the only bike that had them on, so they should be fairly clean. They should just run. I shouldn't have a problem with, but I mean, clutch cable's kind of bad. The oil tank, should probably clean it out. I'm not going to use that for now, but at least there's a sight glass. I have extra ones of those anyway. It's almost been a fire or something weird, but I think the engine was pretty much original to the bike. It says 15059. Nope, that's way off. So this bike had a serial number 16AO4278, and the engine has TA1 15059. So I wonder if this engine was replaced. But like I said, my box of parts, most of the stuff is, I can't know if you can tell these cylinders or not. They have, this one I had to pound on pretty good to get off, so I'm not real happy with that. There's just some goofy little marks inside. There had you can see where it's kind of starting to flake. I don't know if that would even run or not. So that's when I get this one kind of going and keep my spare parts in one spot. So this is what? The 035 60. So that's not even close. I mean, it's closer to the frame number, but I said these side covers could have gotten changed. Because, like I said, this was my uncle's original bike. And he said this engine had gotten changed, but who knows? Side covers could have moved around. So that's my good runner. I just want to get this one to a point I can use that again. But I mean, a lot of these pieces, I mean, it's just sat in a dirt floor barn for way too long. You know, I got different rotary valves. I got a couple of the chrome tubes for the air cleaner, so that's kind of nice in there. But just the bags of just miscellaneous bolts and washers, and trying to go through and clean that stuff up. So I found a bunch of head bolts, found the washers, found the clips for the piston rings, and you know, extra ones. I don't think these even ever go bad. I mean, the bottom end probably go up before anything else. These washers were slightly different than these washers, but I found like 8 of those that match. These were all just kind of crusty. You know, just take the wire wheel. And, you know, most of the stuff isn't about this condition, so I'm just trying to, you know, get a bunch more studs there, because you gotta take the studs out to get the cylinders off, and that's what I was just kind of doing, is clean up the threads. These are just your finger tight, because the only ones that were in here were these two. But I've had problems with at a bottom end strip out, so I'm being really careful with chasing the threads, cleaning them out really good, brake cleaner and air, you know, chasing these threads so these all go in real nice. So I'll put the cylinders on when I have the pistons all on, then I'll get those kind of torqued down, because it's like an M7 by 1.0. So hopefully those go in nice, because I think I put some in, didn't have them clean enough, and they just kind of bottomed out the dirt and ended up stripping them out. But I got some, like I said, just miscellaneous parts, you know, exhaust gaskets. And these are all things that, you know, I should have an inventory of parts, but if I can put a bike back together, this is a much better way to inventory things, I figure. So hopefully I'll update this a little bit, and at the top end, maybe I can show you guys that it actually fired. All right, back to the second day. I just set my cylinders on with whatever pistons I could find that had not stuck rings. So before I put it back together, I just kind of wanted to run through, found some studs. These studs I had all cleaned up, so they'll scoot into the head nice. So did those. Like I said, these were already in there. I didn't move them at all. Hopefully they're okay. But you can see how the top of the piston, I got the exhaust side. My head's probably, well, sorry, I wish I had a way to hold this down better. My phone will sit here or not. Probably not, but just know that this stuff does go up and down without any type of hindrance. So they're gonna want to move up on me. I'll try and give it a better shot later. All right, found a little better way to keep my cylinder on. Got the studs in there. Just been rolling it over. I'll clean off any dirty ridge that might, you know, just smoothing out the cylinders, whatever dirt, oil, stuff I had in there. But so far so good. Kickstarter skip on this one. All right, I'm trying to test fire this for the first time. Put a bit of premix in the cylinders. There's no other oil or anything hooked up. A temporary battery. I had some spark. The heat is on. My daughter kind of holding there. She's going to focus on there. I'm just going to try and hit this over. I don't know if I have the cylinders right. Ouch. Nothing.
Recording.
Recording? Okay. A little gas in the carburetors. That's way too much. It's all pouring out. But turn the key on. Grab a little rag because my Kickstarter is very loose. Let's just see if this thing's got a little fire in there. Ooh. perfect. At least I know it'll run. That's at least 30 years of being apart and a bunch of junk parts. So now I have to go through my box of parts and see what else I can find for exhaust. Some of these tubes are rusted solid, so they don't have any, they don't go through, but one was good, I think. But yeah, airbox, battery, that kind of stuff. I don't have the oil pump hooked up, but I just want to make sure that I had spark and it fired, so I think we're all good. I'll post up more when we have fuel system hooked up and the carburetor's all cleaned out. Okay, honey, that's good. All right, back at it today. Let's see if I can get this thing to run on its own gas. Try and get it to warm up a little bit. We got it to fire the other day, but then I had a car show swap meet in Iowa, Wisconsin we went to for a couple days, and kids had things going on, so I was working on a little bit today, found some more parts. Big thing, I put some fuel line on, ran to this parts store and it's got some little filters. I did put a little bit of gas in the tank. I took the bowl off my petcock there just to make sure it wasn't all crusty, but this was pretty clean in here. It must have been drained or leaked out soon enough, so I'm sure this is gonna drip all over the place. I pulled a line off the oil pump and I dumped a little oil in the tank up here. It all looks really clean inside. I mean, I could probably take it all off and that kind of stuff, but I just take the lines off, put a little oil in there till it, ran out on the ground. It came out pretty clean. I got my carburetors mounted properly. It's gonna try and clean up my exhaust manifolds, at least get them down close. I did find a left and a right. I was gonna run these on the wire wheel for a while because this is how all my stuff shows up. It's just been sitting. I mean, they're not in very good condition at all, but at least I should get the exhaust back in the tubes a little bit. So I'm gonna run those over there a little bit. I do have my battery on the charger. What else was I gonna do? Yeah, like I said, I don't know what my oil line looks like coming out under here. If the pump is gonna pump, who knows? I did top off this transmission, so there's oil till here. And this is the wrong cable, but this is one that was on I'd robbed this cable because it's really good for my other bikes, but it's just enough. This is sticky because this sat dry for a long time, so I've been trying to run it in gear and just get some oil in the transmission. But right now I have my back wheel tied down so it doesn't go anywhere, so I can't do much of that. But if I get the engine running for a few minutes, oh yeah, I was gonna torque the heads down too. I just did it hand tight. I think those are 140 inch-pounds. I'll double check my book and just kind of run over those a little bit, but I just hand tighten them a little bit and let them sit there. So I'll be back here in a second. Like I said, everything I have needs the wire wheel, and like I said, that's why there's a pile of junk here, because I just spent hours here getting to a point where you can see the stuff again and use them. I did find some gaskets. It's all good enough, nothing perfect, but I can do that some other day. All right, so I got my headers on. It's amazing how much that cleans up just with the wire wheel. Got some bolts on there. I don't have this little slip joint, but I'm pretty sure one of these is plugged solid anyway. I just put some premix in there. My petcock really isn't dripping. I mean, it drips a little bit, but I've seen a lot worse. I did torque the heads down to 140 inch-pounds. That worked out good. This is just kind of flopping in here, but there's gas. Down the bowl should be full by now. I hooked my battery up. I put a little bit of gas in the tank. Like I said, it's just probably 32 to 1. Just what I had left over from one of my snowmobiles, because there is a little bit of oil in the oil pump. Was coming out of here, but I'm not trusting that this is going through or anything like that. I do my throttles hooked up. I don't think my enriching valve is moving, so I'll dump a little bit of gas in the carbs and kind of let her go, because the key on is that my battery charger's been there. These horns always work. I even have a neutral light now, so how amazing is that? I mean, I love that kind of stuff, and this all works. I think this one even had a brake light, or the tail light worked already, so I mean, this thing must have been a runner when it got parked, so hopefully I can set this up and see if we can fire it up with the exhaust kind of on it. Let's see what we can do here. Turn the key on. Set this minimal gas, minimal oil. So I'm only on the right cylinder right now. Once I pull that plug out and see if it's firing or not, but boy, that'll just fire right up. Took the plug out. It seems like it has spark, so I don't know if it's gas. Try it again. It seems like it's on both. Not as strong. I'm guessing that's transmission oil coming out of this side. I think that seal is bad. Just turn the headlight on. That works. Tail light. I'm only getting smoke out of this side. I don't know about the other one. I don't have much gas. It's a little smoky, but guess we'll find out. Got exhaust plugged or what's going on. Just wanted to give a little update. And the 175, I had it running yesterday and it ran okay, but obviously the right cylinder was smoking way more than it should. So I decided to take the clutch cover off. Let's put that transmission seal in that always goes bad. So I had the parts, but when I took the cover off, this one is different than anything I've ever seen before. Most of mine had the fiber gear up here. There's no idler, so you just have the 3 points to time it. Well, this one has the extra idler in there for some reason that was added according to the book after a certain serial number. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out how that all lines up. It reads kind of oddly, but I do have the new seal there, the 09, 09, 109, and the O-ring for the rotary valve. My little box of parts that I've gotten, but I don't have all the parts that I want, but that should get me a lot closer. So that gets me basically this area right here. So I'm putting that seal and that O-ring in. So it's 30 and 32. 30, 32, there you go. 109, 113. Those are those two. If I get those replaced, like I said, now I know there's timing marks on the generator. I haven't found any on this idler. As you can see, the clutch, the timing spot right there and down there. So I just kind of rolled the engine over a couple times. So right now the crankshaft is basically lined up the clutch. There's something to do with the way this one lines up. I don't know if this has to be straight down or how that's gonna go, but I might make some marks and leave it the way it is. Read into it a little bit more, but I just want to let you know that's kind of what I'm up to there. So I just had a little time. Give you an update when I figure it out. Here I have that transmission seal that I pulled out of there. You can see, I don't know if that'd make it suck oil into the transmission, but I mean, the seal is obviously bad. It's old, it's hard. I got the new seal installed, and it left some marks on the crankshaft and that little hole right there, because somehow the way the clutch and the gear, I kind of figured out that this is gonna have to point to the center of the idler. So I haven't moved very much, and I marked my clutch. The line's not great, but I'm just gonna slide this stuff back together. There's a little wave washer on here, make sure that stays on there. That's good. I did not even take this cover off. And that O-ring, I have a new one, but I'd rather not break anything off right now. Like I said, I just want to get this one running again. It's not really a restore, but that was definitely a problem. Got that back in there, nice and flush. Is it going? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Side cover's on, oil's in. Try and run it now with that new transmission seal in. My enriching valve is, this cable's rusted tight, but I put a little bit of oil in the tank. There's still a premix in it. We'll see if it takes off. So come to find out, yes, my exhaust was very plugged on the left side. I spent a bunch of time, I took the baffle out, which it came right out, cleaned that up, and just use a piece of coat hanger. And I just knocked out a whole bunch of pink insulation and little pieces there. So hopefully I don't knock it over. Runs so much better. There I got both. This is after I got that transmission seal in. And I didn't do a good job with the sealer, but I think my clutch works. We're ready to go for a test ride here another day or so. Well, the day's come. Time to go for the first ride. I did get a battery this morning. Took my side covers on. I still don't have much of a choke since that cable is stuck. But I adjusted my front brake up, so that should work. Most of the oil stayed in it. I put a little bit in the tank. But I said I'm still running premix. I just want to see if that goes down. So try and go for a first ride and a first start here. I don't know how that's all gonna work. I'll probably switch to my GoPro. But let's just see if I can't get her to take off. I need a little help here. I don't recommend this, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Key on. Yes, sir, it took right off. Come on. I know you're getting gas. Might be low on battery. Ah, shoot. Must not be charging. So I just went for the first test ride with this. Come to find out, it wasn't charging, so I made it about up to my driveway and the thing shut off. Well, the deal was, so these came with a shut off. I think that was a after the fact add-on. Where on the side cover they'd have a shut off here, because I think these would drain the battery. So I never even thought about it. So there's a brown wire that comes off of here, and I had this white wire that was plugged in here. So this white wire plugged in this white wire, this plugged into my other side of the switch, and the brown wire came back in here. So I just eliminated the white wire and went right into here. Now I'm charging to 14 volts, and the thing runs like a champ. Like I said, made a couple laps around the neighborhood. I had my GoPro, but I'm sure that memory card's full. But made it back no problem. Ran on both cylinders. My speedometer works. I'm putting miles on it. I can probably turn the gas on. Should fire right off. Then go for a little spin. First day riding it, hitting on both cylinders, the brakes work. That's a little hard on it. Sorry for no clutch, but I don't have a mount for my phone. dripping, to be expected. Run. All in all, success.